yogurt and raspberries.
Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do another fermentation video, and we're going to ferment our own yogurt. So fermenting yogurt is pretty easy. You just need some yogurt culture. I have one, but if you don't have that, you can just use like a yogurt from the store. And then some milk. I use whole milk, and it's usually easiest to start a yogurt culture with whole milk. So I recommend getting that. And then a big glass jar to keep your yogurt in. What we're gonna do is just heat up some milk until it's almost boiling, mix in our yogurt culture, and you let it sit in a warm place for 8 to 24 hours until it's set. And then you have yogurt. So it's super easy, and we're gonna get into it. But before that, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. So right now, I have milk. I always shake my milk. Do you guys do that? I'm gonna make about half a gallon of yogurt, and I'm gonna need about half a gallon of milk. I'll just pour it in. I realize now that this is half a gallon. If you have half a gallon of milk in a half gallon container, you can just pour the milk into the pan. But we're gonna do that now. So I have a pan. I'm gonna put my milk in here. I hope this doesn't spill. Now you wanna heat this until it's scalding. So that means like almost boiling. You wanna heat it until it's almost boiling because that helps break down the proteins. And then that will make it so your yogurt has a smoother texture, and so it's not as clumpy and stuff.
Here's the milk, and you want to make sure to stir it every once in a while so it doesn't burn on the bottom.
I got my yogurt culture from this guy on Nextdoor. He was looking for sourdough starter, and so I traded with him, and I've been making yogurt ever since. I like it a lot. Like, you can adjust the sourness, you can adjust the consistency. So I like just making regular yogurt, but if you want thicker yogurt, like Greek yogurt, you just strain it a little bit. You can personalize it, just like any type of fermentation, as we have learned. And all you need is some yogurt, because like the bacteria in here will eat up the sugars in the milk, and then you just take a little bit of that, keep it, and then you use that as your new yogurt culture that you will make your next batch of yogurt with, and your next batch of yogurt, and your next batch of yogurt. So it's just like a kombucha starter, it's just like a sourdough starter, fermentation. Now we wait for the milk to get hot.
I use a thermometer because it's most precise, and scalding temperature is 185. We need to cool down the milk mixture before adding the yogurt starter so it doesn't kill the bacteria. So we're putting our bowl of hot milk into an ice bath. You can also cool down your milk by leaving it out until it's cool enough.
So now I'm just gonna move the milk around and wait for it to get cool enough to 115 degrees before I mix in the yogurt starter. So I'm gonna check with my thermometer. So mine's at 125. Just mix it a little bit. So for yogurt, the temperature at which the bacteria multiplies the fastest, this is between like 110 to 120 degrees. So you want to keep it in that temperature range for as long as possible when you're making yogurt, so the bacteria can like multiply, and then you can have yogurt and stuff. Okay, so I think this will be done now. I just take it out. And so I'm gonna take my yogurt starter. If you don't have yogurt starter, take the yogurt now. And usually what I do is about like 2 tablespoons per quart. So now I have half a gallon, which is 2 quarts, and I'm gonna do 4 tablespoons. And then this is just like a starting recipe guide, I guess. If you continue to make yogurt, you can experiment with different amounts of starter. And then the different amounts of starter will just affect like the texture of how it sets, and also the time in which it sets. So you want to just experiment and see what works for you. Now we want to blend it together. I'm going to use an immersion blender because I have one. If you don't, you can use a whisk. And if you don't have a whisk, you should probably just get a whisk because you want to make sure that the yogurt starter is properly incorporated, and so your yogurt will have like a consistent texture throughout and it'll set properly.
Then I just blend it for a few seconds.
We have our yogurt mixture. I'm just gonna pour it back into the glass jar. That's why I poured it into here, because there's a nice spout, because I've spilled it pouring it from the pan multiple times. And now I have this thermos type thing. As I said before, you want to try and keep your yogurt at like 100 to 120 degree temperature for as long as possible. So that's why I put it in a little thermos. And you just leave it to sit for, you can check on it at like 12 hours and just see if it's completely set yet. If it's not set, just leave it. And yeah, super easy. Oh, also, if you don't have a thermos type thing, you can also leave it in the oven with the oven light on, because that's supposed to keep it at warm enough of a temperature that the bacteria can multiply and then the yogurt can set. Otherwise, if you have like a heating blanket, you can try wrapping your yogurt in that. I've also just stuck it in my Instant Pot. It's not as tight of a seal as I would like, but it's kind of insulated a little bit, and it's worked that way too. There's lots of options you can try. Also, if you want to make yogurt, I would really suggest getting a thermometer, and I'll link one down below.
This is what the yogurt looks like after 20 hours sitting out and then a night in the fridge. If I shake it, there's no jiggle, so it means it's set properly. And then this foamy stuff on the top is just because there was a lot of milk foam when I poured the milk into the container. And then all you have to do is mix it around and you have a nice yogurt texture again. Just like this. See? So tasty. This is what the yogurt looks like.
And now I have about half a gallon of yogurt, a little bit less, like half a gallon of milk makes a little less than half a gallon of yogurt. And you can just leave it in the fridge. That tastes really good. So now we have our bowl of yogurt with some raspberries in it, because I like raspberries. We're just gonna give it a taste. That's really good. I wish these raspberries were sweeter, but whatever. Okay, so for this recipe, I used 2 tablespoons per quart. And with that amount of starter, it would take around like 10 to 15 hours to fully set. And then I just let it go on a little bit longer because, well, I wasn't awake at 10 to 15 hours. Also, I just like it to have a little bit more of a sour flavor. I let it go for 20 hours. But you can check on it after like 10 hours and see if it has set, and you can just like jiggle it a little. And you just want to see that there's not much movement to it. And then, as you saw, my yogurt is on the thinner side. And if you want it to be more of like a thicker texture, then you should strain it. So you can take like a towel and then like strain the yogurt. You want the liquidy part to drain out, and then you're left with a thicker textured yogurt. I think plain yogurt, if you buy it in the store, it can come out a little bit sour. But if you make it at home, you can adjust the sourness taste. And then you can also put like honey or granola or whatever you want on it. I actually really like to microwave frozen berries and then put it on top, and it's sort of like a warm jammy type thing. And it makes it sweeter, and it's also like fresh and fruity, you know? Anyways, I hope you guys like this video, and you'll like it down below and subscribe to my channel. You guys should try making your own yogurt. It's actually pretty easy. It takes time, but that's about it. And then it's actually a lot cheaper than buying yogurt, because half a gallon of milk I think is like $3 or something, but then half a gallon of yogurt would cost like $6 or maybe even more. I'm not exactly sure. But now you can have it for $3. And then I'll see you in the next one. Bye!